Huwag yung kayong magkadisgrasyahan tayo niyan. Sinasabi ko madidisgrasya kayo. At madidisgrasya kayo. Hindi ako urong dito. And I said, I would stake my honor, my life, and even the presidency.
Magandang umaga, Malacañang press corps sa ating mga bisita. Tunay na numero, tunay na pagbabago, tunay na tagumpay. Nandito po tayo sa Real Numbers Briefing. Today we have Attorney Asek Maribana. Good morning.
Rocky, magandang umaga, and to our friends sa Malacañang press corps, magandang umaga po. This morning, we have with us Deputy Director Ferdinand Lavin, spokesperson of the National Bureau of Investigation, to give us update on the real numbers data. And of course, Police Superintendent Bong Durana Jr., the PNP spokesperson, to give us the first data, the most controversial data on the Moto Popio investigations of the anti-illegal drugs campaign and the internal cleansing data. Magandang umaga po, sir. We go now to Sir Attorney Lavin.
Good morning, everyone, friends from the media. We would like to update you on the status of our anti-illegal drugs operations. The operations is a joint operations. Most of these are joint operations by your PDEA, PNP, and the NBI and other law enforcement agencies. We have the data from the reference date is July 1, 2016 to July 31, 2018, a total of 105,658 anti-illegal drug operations, or an increase of 3,028 anti-illegal drug operations from June 30 to July 31 of this year. Were conducted by PDEA, PNP, NBI, and other law enforcement agencies nationwide, which resulted in the arrest of 152,123 drug personalities, or an increase of 4,321 drug personalities for the same period. Also, an increase of 4,410 drug personalities were recorded casualties on the same period. For the same period, June 30 to July 31, there is an increase of 56 recorded casualties. Summary for the government workers arrested on anti-illegal drug operations. As a result of the combined efforts of all the law enforcement agencies against high-value targets, a total of 569 government workers, including 268 government employees, 243 elected officials, and 58 uniformed personnel were arrested for violations of Republic Act 9165. This is in line with the President's thrust of cleansing the bureaucracy from corrupt public servants. For the arrested or rescued minors, since President Duterte'S administration, a total of 1,258 minors were rescued by authorities nationwide. These minors were turned over to the various local social welfare offices. For the total shabu seized for the period, 2,755.77 kilos of shabu worth 14.79 billion pesos were seized by PDEA and other law enforcement agencies nationwide, or an increase of 19.04 kilos with a value of 129.48 million for the period June 30 to July 31, 2018. For the value of the drugs seized, a total of 21.48 billion worth of drugs were seized for the period, or an increase of 185.61 million pesos. We have also cleared barangays in various barangay drug clearing operations. As of July 31, 2018, a total of 8,215 barangays were cleared out of the total number of barangays of 42,044. Those are the figures from the PDEA and the various law enforcement agencies. Madam.
Okay. We also have the drug dens which were dismantled, 221 for the period from July 2016 to July 31, 2018. Now we move on to, again, the most controversial data for spokesperson Durana to provide. It's something that they've waited for, sir, for a long time.
Okay, good morning, members of our friends and partners from the media. Just like what the president said in a lot of terms, while we can be tough on crimes, especially illegal drugs, we can also uphold human rights and constitutional rights, not only of the accused, but also of our police personnel, of our different various law enforcement personnel. So as of this date, from July, for the period July 1, 2016 to July 31, 2018, motu proprio, meaning it was based on the initiative of our Internal Affairs Service. They've conducted motu proprio investigation of a total of 3,275 personnel. And out of this number, we have so far penalized, dismissed from the service, 59 police personnel, exonerated 778, and dismissed a total of 2,438 cases. Also, as a result of our internal cleansing program, in all personnel in the various law enforcement agencies of the government, we have dismissed from the service 267 personnel for drug use and 95 personnel for other drug-related offenses. So this alone will more or less communicate to the public that we do not tolerate misfits and scalawags in our campaign against illegal drugs. Our campaign, in our war on drugs, has its good intentions. We don't want to be, we don't want it to be marred by the irregularities attendant to the police operation of some of our personnel. So we'll be hard on them, weeding out misfits and scalawags, because a war on drug has its very good intentions. Thank you.
MPC questions? Maricel, you have a question?
Hi, sir. Good morning. Sir, I'm just curious. Ano po yung ginagawa ng authorities once na na-seize na nila yung mga shabu and yung mga illegal drugs and other paraphernalia?
For the part of the NBI, this is deposited with our forensic chemistry division, since shabu once seized or other narcotic substances once seized are forwarded to our forensic chemistry division for laboratory examination, and the court is informed where it is being kept, and normally the court allows the NBI to take custody of these illegal drugs until such time that the court orders for the transfer of these illegal drugs to PDEA. The PDEA is also informed of the results of investigation by the NBI until such time also that the court orders for the destruction of these illegal drugs.
How do you destruct the drugs, sir?
This is with the PDEA. I have witnessed two destructions of illegal drugs, one in Cavite. We already destroyed the shabu we seized in San Juan, something like 1,300 kilos, and also the more than 500 kilos we seized in Valenzuela.
So how do you do that, sir?
This is by incinerator. The PDEA has its facilities in various parts of the country for the destruction of these drugs.
But sir, habang wala pang decision yung court on what to do with the seized drugs, do we have enough storage for those seized? Paraphrase.
Yes, for the NBI, we have a storage facility for the seized drugs. And the seized drugs are regularly being inventoried and inspected by representatives of the accused, the lawyers of the accused, the prosecutors, the representatives of the court, and PDEA, of course, and the seizing agency, the NBI. This is closely monitored. In the case of NBI, there is a monitoring facility that goes direct to the office of Attorney Dante Giran, our director. Any time of the day and night, the director of the NBI can monitor the illegal drugs, the movement in the storage facility.
Pero si Spokes Durana, kasi diyan pumapasok yung Ninja Cups, di ba? Yung mga, yeah.
Yeah, I think the same is true. The same is true actually with the Philippine National Police. Dumadaan yan sa stringent chain of custody. The moment that the illegal drugs are lifted, no, or taken out after being processed by our scene of the crime operators, it is the evidence or pieces of evidence are being tagged and turned over to the evidence custodian. Meron po tayong mga evidence room sa mga police stations. Pag malaking bulk or it was processed by the scene of the crime operations by the crime laboratory. Tina-turn over yan sa crime laboratory. Meron tayong malaking storage doon. You've seen malaki yung ating crime laboratory building doon, no? And it is always closely monitored, and those pieces of evidence, itong mga seized drugs, ay pag-ari yan ng korte. Anytime it will be, the court can order its presentation to during the hearing, and after the case is resolved, no? It depends on the disposition of the court also, or whether to destroy it, and definitely it will be destroyed, no? May mga proseso yan sila. Yung PDEA has the expertise to destroy these seized illegal drugs. So ito yung mga sinasabing mga ninja cops. This again, as you can see, I think they are part of this 267 personnel dismissed from the service for drug use, and this 95 dismissed from the service for other drug-related offenses. Now, itong mga ninja cops na to, of course, we are not saying that we have obliterated, neutralized them up to the last man. There's still those who insist on their wicked ways. That's why we are running after them. CITF is hot on their trail. And CITF, our counterintelligence task force, was even, appealing to them to surrender peacefully. Otherwise, we will, put a stop to their illegal activities permanently. No? So, yan ang ginagawa po natin. So, I think, of course, we cannot deny that in the past, we have this problem, but now we have significantly reduced. If not, we will totally eradicate this kind of, illegal activities from within our ranks. That's why, in the Philippine National Police, our war on drugs is coupled with our intensified internal cleansing program. No? We are actually very aggressive on this. While we can be relentless in our campaign against drug users and drug pushers as the street level. We are also would want to be relentless in chilling in our desire to rid our ranks of misfits and scalawags, especially those who are involved in illegal drug operation or those who are using illegal drugs.
Okay, Joseph Moro.
Asek Manag, parang kulang tayo ng agency. Saan po yung PIDEA?
Yeah, they would be around next press briefing. That's why we asked the NBI also to help us out with the press con this time because they haven't been with us for more than a year.
What is your information about the status of Director Aquino?
Sorry.
Yung status po ni Director Aquino, did he file a leave or did he...
Yeah, he filed a leave prior to this week for a vacation leave.
Would you know when he filed it?
Of course, yeah, of course I don't know.
This
I
was
don't know.
before the President's statement and the 6.8.
Yes, yes, way before because we had a meeting at the NBI 2 weeks ago, and then he already filed the leave.
2
for
weeks
this
ago
week.
pa.
Yes, 2 weeks ago pa na may meeting kami, and he already filed for leave then. Nawala siya this week. So we knew nawala siya this week. So we did not hold the press briefing at the PIDEA.
Alright, so wala namang, hindi naman po siya nag-resign?
No,
That's categorical, no?
it is categorical.
Okay. Going to your figures, PNP and NBI, yun pong 4,410 drug personalities who died in anti-drug operations, ito po yung sinasabi natin na mga namatay lang legitimately since the drug war started?
As far as we are concerned, any police operation is treated, being treated as being conducted by our personnel in regularity, meaning they followed the police operation procedures. So it is always, viewed that our police personnel are doing it the right way, no? But since, of course, we are also sensitive to the apprehensions of the public, that's why our Internal Affairs Service, motu proprio, conducted investigation on their own, no, or without without any complaint. No, that's why right now this is actually the result of their investigation. It's a continuing process that the Chief of the Philippine National Police have specifically, instructed and encouraged the Inspector General of IAS, Internal Affairs Service, to make sure that there should be integrity in the way we conduct our police operations against illegal drugs. And we will continue doing that, and that's because that's a marching order of the Chief of the Philippine National Police.
I was wondering whether you have data on deaths under investigation, because you used to have that. Deaths under investigation.
Yes, and that's what I said. That's exactly what you've been mentioning. 4,150 plus now being investigated by the Internal Affairs Service, and out of that, actually, the result of that, 267, something like that, about that number, because this figure also include other government personnel. But as far as you're concerned, we have, based on my data here, we have already actually dismissed a total of positive in legal drugs. As of today, as of yesterday, dismissed a total of 269 police personnel for being positive in legal drug, positive in the use of illegal drugs, and a total of 94 dismissed from service for being involved in illegal drugs. So right now, death under investigation, I think we have, as of yesterday, we have a total of 4,800 plus death due to police operations. And definitely our Internal Affairs Service will continuously, motu proprio conduct its own investigation. I think there's one thing that it's not being reflected here. On my way here, I look into the average death since the start of our war on drugs. War on drugs of the Duterte administration. During the first, I think, 3 months, there's an average of 105 deaths weekly. No? So we adjusted our campaign. Then it went down to 2,000, on average of 69, then 39, and since December of last year up to the present, there is now an average of just 23 deaths per week, on average per week. So as you can see, we are continuously, polishing a war on drugs. A recalibration of war on drugs is more. We can be tough on crimes, but at the same time we can be humane as well, and making sure that human rights and the constitutional rights of those drug dealers or drug pushers are observed. So I think this figure would tell us that while we can be relentless in killing as much as possible, we also would want it to be less bloody.
All right, sir. So 4,850 deaths under investigation.
Since
yes?
July 1 until up to the present.
So plus 4,410 drug personalities died. You will roughly have less than 10,000 individuals who were killed in the operation since we started in July.
Yes,
Is that the
as a result of police operations.
Okay.
But you have
Police
to
operations, sir.
Police operations.
Okay. Sir, sa NBI, just one last question. I think the ES has asked the DOJ and the NBI to investigate the 6.4 Shabu shipment. Any update?
Yes, sir. The NBI received a directive from no less than DOJ Secretary Minardo Guevara, and Attorney Dante Geran, the NBI Director, immediately tasked the Task Force Anti-Illegal Drugs, headed by Attorney Jonathan Galicia here, to conduct the investigation. In respect of the investigation being undertaken by the group of Attorney Galicia, we reserve our comment on. But rest assured the public that they have already conducted they have already started the conduct of the investigation. Maybe after here or in a few days, they will be dispatching the full task force of the NBI, including our forensics, in
Sir,
pursuit of the investigation.
The president said that maybe 3 days ago that it's pure speculation. That's his quote, no? To say that 6.4 billion of drugs were there and it was able to escape. How is that going to affect the investigation of the NBI?
We will conduct our investigation independent of the comment of government officials. But rest assured that this is going to be a thorough investigation based on forensic evidence.
Sir, thank you.
Okay. Alvin, last question na ba tayo? Okay.
Rocky, may I clarify kanina?
Yes.
Yes, Joseph, the data given by Spokesperson Durana is up to today. Our cutoff is July 31. So there are data that were not sent to PIDEA. Since PIDEA is the repository of all anti-illegal drugs data, then the official data would be whatever data that the PIDEA would release. Ang 44110 are those since July 2016 up to July 31, 2018. Those were the ones which were reported by other law enforcement agencies. Of course, that is from NBI, from BOC, from PNP, and the PIDEA. So these are the data. These were, and ang increase ay mga 56 since June 30, between June 30 up to July 31.
Okay, last three. Alvin, to be followed by Celerina and Jinky. And Nestor.
Colonel Durana, good morning.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Oh, Alvin.
Sir, doon
Nice
sa...
to see you.
Sir, morning, sir. Sir, doon sa mga na-dismiss dahil sa involvement doon sa drugs, ano yung pinakamataas na rango na nakasama doon sa mga...
Superintendent.
So, sir, hindi kasama dito yung narco generals na binanggit natin ni Pangulo?
Hindi kasama dito. As I think all of us know that wala pa namang I think there's one no sa na-dismiss. But I think not necessarily on their direct involvement sa illegal drugs for some other offense. No, I hate to mention the name, but I'm not really privy to the investigation. But I think one thing we should emphasize here, and also this is quite connected to our effort in cleansing our ranks of misfits and scalawags, yung 65% of this personnel no, na dismiss and or penalized have ranks ranging from PO1 to PO3, 65%. Sa mga commission officers naman, inspector to senior inspector, 10%. So a total of 75%, 3/4 of those involved in illegal or irregular activities are those of lower ranks. That's why we ask. Actually, we're thankful to Senator Lacson and Congressman Acop in sponsoring these bills of returning the control of our training institutions to the Philippine National Police. Right now, we have a very anomalous setup. Our new recruits, non-commissioned officers, and police commissioned officers are being trained by a separate entity. Anomalous in the sense that in some other countries, it's the police institutions, police agencies that have the responsibility in training their new recruits. So this alone will validate or reinforce our argument that we need to be responsible and be solely accountable of the product of our training institutions.
Sir, one follow-up na lang. Sir, meron ba kayong, naglabi ba kayo sa Congress na medyo paikliin yung due process para mabilis yung pagkakadismiss doon sa mga police? Kasi medyo mahaba yung process bago ma-dismiss ang isang police. Despite the fact na marami ng ebidensya, may mga kaso rin na nalilipat lang sa ibang assignment pero nandun ba rin sa service? Naglabi ba kayo sa Congress, sir?
If I may recall it right, since 2005, it was actually the findings of UNDP transforming the PNP into more capable, effective, and credible police service. No? Meron silang a thorough diagnosis of the Philippine National Police, what ails the military and police establishment. Kasama yan. No? We have so many disciplinary authorities. No? And the process is circuitous. So it's still part and parcel of our reform program, the Philippine National Police. And I'm sure there are efforts to, lobby, just like this one, no? Transferring the training. There are a lot of legislative initiatives, advocacy being undertaken by our reform office, yung Center for Police Strategic Management, in charge of orchestrating all these reform initiatives of the Philippine National Police. So since 2005, I'm sure that they're doing that. I used to be part of this reform office. We've been doing that, not only addressing some infirmities in our disciplinary system, but also in some other areas, some dysfunction in the legal policy and systemic dysfunction of the Philippine National Police.
Okay, last three, Jinky, Nestor, and then Celerina.
Sir, hello po kay Attorney Lavin. Sir, kanina in connection lang sa question ni Joseph, do you have timeline po for that investigation for the NBI to be able to finish that?
We do not have, honestly, we do not have a timeline on this. but they are acting fast as we have to resolve this the soonest possible time. We, however, assure that it's going to be a thorough investigation by the NBI, and that is why we cannot sacrifice the quality of investigation in the interest of time.
So when you say thorough, what do you mean?
Everything has to be properly looked into from the arrival of the shipment, including the external factors. Where did the shipment come from? How was it shipped from origin to destination? Up to the point of the delivery or where the lifters are presently located.
One last Rax. Sir, kanina, dun din sa question ni Maricel, curious lang ako, ilang days po kaya ang tinitake bago mag-decide ang korte na i-destroy yung mga illegal drugs na nahuli natin?
We cannot speak for the courts.
But
it
usually,
varies.
sir, usually in your
Normally,
experience.
it's months to years. We raided the San Juan, we seized the San Juan drugs of 1,377 kilos in December of 2016. I think it was destroyed only this year, early this year.
Okay, Nestor?
This is for Spokesperson or ASIC Banaag. Yesterday marked the first death anniversary of Kian de los Santos, but only 5 police officers have been jailed and indicted so far, while 4 of their superiors who have been cleared of command responsibility has been promoted to higher positions. So what does this say about President Duterte's promise to the family that they would be given justice?
Okay, first of all, while we'd want to make sure that the accused drug suspects should be given due process, we should also give due process to the ones running after the criminals. So that's precisely what we've done in the case of those implicated in the Kian de los Santos case. So based on a thorough investigation of our disciplinary apparatus, they found out that these officers were not in a way involved, no? Or you cannot ascribe command responsibility. But we are, and I think the court found probable cause, and they were charged. These 3 were directly involved in the killing of Kian de los Santos. And we are not, treating our personnel with kid gloves. In fact, other than the criminal cases, there's an automatic administrative cases being filed against these police personnel. So again, while we can give due process to the drug suspects, it is also probably right that we should also give due process to the ones running after the criminals. Thank you.
Okay, Celerina?
Good morning. Ma'am, I just want to clarify yung figure kanina kay Joseph. So yung 4,410, is that on top of the 4,850 that Sir mentioned?
No, that's not on top of it.
No.
Yes. The data, the 4,410 is, ang cut-off niyan is hanggang July 31. Yung 4,810, I think spokesperson should
This is a
clarify
raw
that.
raw data from the Philippine National Police as of 15 August 2018.
Okay. So kasama yung 4,410 doon.
Oh, yes. Kasama doon. Oh.
So that means po na kung 4,410 yung namatay for the past 2 years, we have a daily like na namamatay ay 6 na tao more or less. So what can you say about that na mayroong 6 na tao na namamatay daily?
Sabi ko nga, this raw data, and I'm sorry to mention
Yung
that.
4,410, that's not a raw data anymore. Official figure.
So, 4,100.
4,410.
4,410, that's the figure from July 1, 2016 up to the present.
Yes, sir. So, around roughly 6 persons po yung namamatay daily since for the past 2 years because of this war on drugs. So, what can you say about that?
Probably that's the way you look at it, no? But based on our data, no? Based on our data, since July 1, 2016, same data. Depending on how you will slant the data. No? Same data, six personnel per day, 6 drug suspect per day. And, drug suspects can be armed, drug crazed, heavily armed. So, in as much as possible, we want it not to be bloody, but you're dealing with drug crazed, highly armed criminals. So you cannot lay down the law enforcers cannot lay down their lives for these criminals. These criminals who've been, denying the Filipino people of their human rights to live in a society free from the scourge of illegal drugs. We have the duty to protect the society from these criminals, and that would involve some death, not only of the drug suspects but also of our police personnel. As of today, various drug law enforcement agencies have laid down their lives, 87 of them, with 200 plus injured in these drug operations. So just like in internal security operation, we lay down our lives. We the enemies of the states were killed in the process as well. So this is not heaven. This is the real world. That people will die in the process. That we have the authority to protect the rest of the Filipino people from the scourge of legal drugs. Thank you.
And of course, if I may add, if we try to consider, isang card po ito, yung operations na conduct po ng ating law enforcement agencies, nakikita naman po natin. It's no joke to implement 105,658 drug operations nationwide. And of course, ilan ang naaresto dyan, and ilan ang nag-surrender pati. If we look into the whole picture of it, we would try to realize that this is a serious matter. And this had been a problem for the longest time.
But again, we are very sensitive, and we are actively listening to the suggestions, comments, even criticism of some quarters in our campaign against illegal drugs. That's why, just like what I've mentioned earlier, from July 1, 2016 to October 25, 2016, died in police operation 1,798. So that means 109 deaths or 105 deaths on the average per week. Okay? From October 26, 2016 to January 30, 2017, 861 died in police operations. It went down to 69 deaths on the average per week. In March 1 to October 10, 2017, died in police operation 1,274. That's 39 deaths on the average per week. Now, latest, December 5, 2017 to August 13, 2018, 881. If you divide that in the number of weeks during that period, you'll only have 23 deaths on the average per week. So, meaning, we are improving, we are reading, making sure that, we are also very sensitive. We are one in protecting and upholding human rights and constitutional rights, not only of the accused, but also of our law enforcers. Just like what ang sinabi ko kanina sa sagot ko sa ating kasamahan.
Okay. Follow-up po regarding dun sa cyst shabu na 2,757.77 kilos so far yung na-cyst. How much po yung volume ng na-destroy na? Ilan pa yung natitira? And how are you going to assure the public na hindi sila marirecycle?
Nakita naman natin, meron nag-attempt noon, di ba? I think that was several years ago, no? Yung member ng crime laboratory, PNP crime laboratory, was involved in the field parades of drugs. I think that was even before the Duterte administration. We filed, he was dismissed from the service, no? Kasi you cannot pilfer drugs lalo-lalo na pa under the custody of crime laboratory, there's a way for us to monitor and make sure that it is not being pilfered by those who are monitoring it, having custody of this evidence in court.
And if I may add, thank you for raising this one, because this is something that we did not look into, because of course it's with the courts, but hopefully next month during the press briefing we will get the data so that we can monitor. It would be a different monitoring from other agencies and with the courts, so that we can have an exact number of what we can provide. So we'll have this one for next month. Thank
Okay,
you. Thank you for
MPC, friendly reminder, please limit your questions kasi we still have Bangon Marawi. Last three, Joseph, Joyce, and then Tina.
Sir, sa PNP po, si Yasek Banag. Ma'am, dati kasi nag-release kayo ng data na deaths under inquiry, and you had 22,983 deaths under inquiry from July 1, 2016 up to at least May 21, 2018. I'm curious, do we have this updated data on this?
Joseph, I think that was not released in real numbers. I think that was released during a press or a seminar or training at the PNP.
So we don't have data now from real numbers?
Yes, for real numbers, we don't give out homicides under investigation. We presented that before, and this one, it gets mangled with other numbers. It gets confused with other numbers, so we chose not to. And you can have the data from DIDM, the PNP DIDM. The 22,000, whatever that is not directly related to the anti-illegal drugs operations.
Okay.
We should be clear about that.
Okay.
There are those cases within the 22,000 numbers that was released by DIDM PNP, but only a portion of that is related to illegal drugs. That is, these are victims, these are addicts, and this is not directly related to the operations, anti-illegal drugs operations.
Fair enough. So you're saying that 22,000 mga namatay na tao since July, halimbawa, 2016, under any circumstance?
And
Yes.
love
Yeah.
triangle,
Personal grudge.
pwedeng personal grudge, yung riding in tandem, lahat
Okay.
po, kidnapping, nandyan po lahat.
All right, fair enough. Sir, PNP and NBI, sir, si Peter Lim, nasa na po?
What's that?
Si Peter Lim, sir?
Peter Lim.
Pinapa-arrest
Yeah. We have tracker teams actually running after him, so that's why we appeal to the public. No, if ever you have information that would lead to the whereabouts of Peter Lim, would be happy to look into it, so that we only have tracker teams. But if we pool our resources, the general public will help us. We can put Peter Lim before the bar of justice.
Has the NBI officially joined the search?
Yes, sir. The Deputy Director for Regional Operations, Attorney Antonio Pagatpat, has already ordered all regional directors and district directors of the NBI to hunt down Peter Lim. And also the Deputy Director for the Metro Manila units, Deputy Director De Guzman, has ordered the operating divisions of the NBI to go after Peter Lim.
So it's both the NBI and the PNP, no?
Yes.
Sir,
Yes, sir.
nasa loob pa ba? Nasa bansa pa?
So far, wala pa naman kaming information na lumabas siya.
Okay, Joy.
Same here. Yeah.
Okay, sir, thank you.
Kay Spokesperson Dorana. Hi, sir. Good morning. Sir, in his previous speech, the President said that the police and military are free to take over the government if they find him no longer capable of leading. Sa side ng PNP, do you see any reason for a possible coup or joining a military junta?
As far as the Philippine National Police is concerned, I think that was also made clear by the Armed Forces of the Philippines. We will follow the what's written in the Constitution.
Basically, sir, the police are happy how the President is handling the issues in the country, how the President is leading.
As far as the Philippine National Police is concerned, I think the President was spot on in concentrating on the war on drugs. In fact, survey results of the Pulse Asia survey said that 69% of the Filipinos would consider the war on drugs, efforts of the Duterte administration to rid our country of illegal drugs, is the most important achievement of the Duterte administration. 50% also said that criminality is also the second top most important achievement of the Duterte administration. And if you may recall, September 2017, 89% of the Filipinos approved of the government's campaign against illegal drugs. So he is spot on a very issue that matters most to the majority of the Filipino people. So government exists based on the needs and expectation of the Filipino people. And the president was spot on all along. That's why he capacitate, he built the capacity of the Philippine National Police in dealing with our campaign against illegal drugs and our campaigns against criminality, because if we have a very good peace and order in our country, it will create an enabling environment for peace and progress to thrive in this country. And probably later on, this economic progress and development can trickle down to the rest of 90% of the Filipinos.
Okay, thank you, Tina. Last question, Tina.
Good afternoon, sir.
Hi, Tina.
To Colonel Durana. Sir, in relation to the previous question, sir, so what's the general sentiment of the PNP right now regarding the President's statement that he wants to resign out of exasperation and frustrations?
And I think not only the Philippine National Police, but the rest of the Filipino people should encourage our father. Di ba? Kung minsan sa pamilya natin, napapagod din ang ating magulang eh. Dahil pasaway tayo masyado, no? So as our father, as our leader, we have to make sure that we contribute. We should not contribute to his already monumental problems. Yeah. Yan po ang ginagawa ng Philippine National Police. So that's why kung ano yung mga prioridad ng ating Pangulo, yun ang tinututukan namin, and do as much as possible want to not to give him a lot of headaches. No? That's why his priority, war on drugs and internal cleansing of the Philippine National Police, yun tinutulungan natin. Parang tayo ay lalawig bilang lalayo, ang ating lakbayan bilang bansa. No? Kung para tayo, we should learn from this migratory bird, the geese, di ba? Nariyan, pag nag-travel sila long distances, nariyan yung leader sa harap eh. The rest of the flock, no? He's cheering, encouraging the leader, etc. I think that also holds true to us. We can go long distances in our journey as a nation if we'll support and encourage our leader. In this case, our president.
Sir, can we say that the PNP now has the entire, at least 150,000 strong PNP still supports the presidency?
Well, so far, nakita in my 30 plus years in the service, it's only now that, the Philippine National Police, as an institution, the leadership is empowered to do their job. Unlike before, there are a lot of political influences. But now, the president has given almost a free hand to the leadership of the Philippine National Police to do their job. In fact, his marching order to the chief of the Philippine National Police is that do everything what is necessary to accomplish your mandate within the bounds of the law. No? Dati, alam nyo, ang mga modernization lang namin, no? Yung aming capacity enhancement program, we are only given something like 2 million in a year. Now, almost 6 million. Diba? We are in my 30 years in the service, we're just being given lip service by the previous administration. Not this time. No? So this government has has taken real good care of our uniformed services. Now that's why our chief of the Philippine National Police said to the rest of the Philippine National Police, now is the time to really take good care of the Filipino people.
Okay, thank you, Tina. Thank you, Senior Superintendent Durana Jr. Thank you, Attorney Lavin. ASEC Banag, maraming salamat po. Maraming salamat sa Malacañang Press Corps. Back to our main studio sa Radyo Pilipinas and People's Television Network.